Ladies and gentlemen, I start this video off with a quote that is very cliche, but it works so well that hell, you just have to run with it whenever it gets a chance to use it. And that is, you either die being a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And that's essentially what is happening with McGillis Farid, because we know his story, we know the truth, we know his intentions on why he's doing the things he's done, and his intentions for getting in the Gundam Bile and why he feels that he should rule. But when you look at everything he's done on the outside looking in, if you look at it as the public, if you look at it how Gjallarhorn is seeing things, he is the monster here. He is the villain. And Rustal used that to his advantage, so you gotta give Rustal some props for that, for being smart, for exposing that everything that McGillis has done at this point. Because if you didn't know what was going on, and you look at everything that Farid has done, and this stuff about him being in the Bile and the soul of Agnika and all this type of stuff, he sounds like a crazy person. He really does. And Rustal used that opportunity with the reveal of Galeo being Vidar and a whole sorts of things. I mean, look at it. He supposedly killed Vidar, or now we can call him Galeo. He's no longer Vidar anymore. He's just straight up going by Galeo once again, so he can get that name, that honor with Gjallarhorn for the people to trust him. He essentially killed him to get power and took his sister so he can marry her. He also killed Carter Issue so he can get a seat on the 7 stars. And also, you know, it's the whole thing with his father adopting him. And with all of these things coming to light about Farid, Rustal has basically put himself in a position where nobody can really argue against his side, because, you know, one thing that happened that McGillis didn't expect was that the 7 stars would take a neutral stance on this. He thought that once he got into the suit, that they were just going to bow down to him gracefully, and they can't disagree with him. I mean, you got to give the man's props, the intelligence that he used when he even confessed to Mikazuki that, yeah, I kind of manipulated my way to this point. You know, the whole thing that happened with Iron, that was an experiment, because the AV system could only be used by children, but he found a way with the experiment that he did with Iron in order to make it work for himself so he can pilot the Bile, or the Bile. And yeah, I mean, it worked in his advantage. But at the same time, the public eye is looking at him as a monster. Even poor Elmira right now, Elmira, I'm sorry, that's her name. She's kind of like, you know what, I loved you, I trust you, and you killed my brother. I don't want anything to do with you. Get away. She was about to kill herself to get out of this situation, and he grabbed a knife and, you know, took the stab for himself by saying, you know what, I really do care about you, but let's be real here. I only really need you to be alive. So stuff like that is making people look at Farid like, what the hell is going on with this guy? Like, even his lieutenant, or the guy that's been around him all season, he saw this interaction and he kind of startled and looked for a second like, bro, what the hell are you doing? So none of this looks good on Farid. I mean, yes, he has his suit, and I hope they use these 6 or 7 episodes that we have left to clear things up of why someone who can just get into his mobile suit is automatically the ruler of Gjallarhorn, because honestly, that's a little bit of a pain point right now, and it's a lot of things that Farid didn't expect. He thought that he would just get into this suit and everything will fall into place, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Like, this soul, is that just a figure of speech by saying the soul of Agnika Kaeru is in this suit? Or is it more like, is it an AI inside? I mean, there's still that opportunity or that possibility to have it be an AI and get control Farid, make him evil. I really don't want them to go that route. I kind of like the route that they're doing right now, where even though we can still feel that he is right, to the public eye, he's wrong. To Tekkadan, he is wrong, because now they've just learned everything that he's done as well. And that puts them into a bigger predicament, because they are stuck with him at this point. They have nowhere else to go. I mean, they have to fight the Ironhide fleet no matter what. And then Orga was rightfully upset about this. He actually decked Farid. I like to see him do that. He decked him and said, you know what, I'm tired of hearing about last battles from people. I'm tired of hearing this is going to be the last time. We're going to do this for you, and that's going to be it. There's going to be no more, you know, false pretenses from here. Either you're going to ride with us or you don't. So the rest of the Tekkadan guys, they don't understand what's going on with this or where they stand. And, you know, Orga he wants the best for his people, even if it is the quicker path, which has been a big plot point for the past, both of these seasons actually, is how far he would go. I mean, Farid said that he would help them, and he got in this iron suit and basically said, I am the law, you will obey me. But now we've come into a snag where everybody's kind of looking like, yeah, bro, it doesn't exactly work that way. It's things that we can do to get out of that, leaving Tekkadan having to fight the Ironheart fleet out of the way it goes. So yeah, that punch was well deserved that Orga gave Farid. And Farid, he has had to eat it because he knew the kid was right. He knew that he manipulated them as well just to be a tool to get that edge that he needed, because he know these kids will fight until the end for each other. And Orga was like, come on, these are my people, this is my family that you are considering collateral damage. We do not have the manpower to take on the rest of Gjallarhorn, and you're sending my people out there to die for your selfish intentions. So big ups to Orga for that, for finally making some type of decision. I mean, yeah, they're stuck. They're nowhere they can go. He said that himself. We have to do this battle. This will be our last battle because nowhere that we can go from here. But I think this is where the importance of Kudelia could come in. She could very well still take these kids in. I mean, because they can't go back to space. They can't go back to Tewaz. But they probably could just go back to Mars if she gets like a higher position or something with what she's doing. Not as soldiers, but as kids themselves, because you've seen she was building an orphanage and things like that. So I think that opens up the opportunity for her to have a bigger role and to be a shelter for these kids like she started out wanting to be when the season started. So another good thing is, how about that plot development and that character development for Mikazuki? I mean, that talk that he had with Atra after she confessed that she loved him and she was crying, and he actually hugged her, and you saw some emotion in his eyes where he basically said, I don't understand what you're saying, I don't understand this love thing, but I do understand something for you, and I know that when you're crying, that's not a good feeling, so I'm going to fight so you don't have to cry anymore. Oh man, I love this kid. I love Mikazuki. To see where he is now, everything that he's been through, versus the character that we've seen at the beginning of the show. I mean, even though he's still a killing machine, much like we've seen with Setsuna and Hiro Yui and the Gundam pilots that were cold before him, he still has a little bit more heart than those dudes coming up. So that was great to see this character rise and for him to be more than one-dimensional. I mean, he still has his focus to kill. He recognizes that all that I'm good for is to fight, to battle, and to kill. But now he has sort of a purpose for if he ever wants to change his mind for that in Atra. So it was great to see that build. I like that they're putting those little seeds of hope that he just may make it through this. I mean, even if Farid gets taken down, he probably can still do something for Mikazuki. I mean, look, he just came up with the plot in order for him to pilot a mobile suit that he wasn't able to. So I'm pretty sure he can make some type of cybernetic or something for Mikazuki in the end game, or somebody can. I really hope that somebody can. But I think at this point we really need to get more insight on what it means to pilot the Bile and what's the importance of Agnika's soul, because Rustoll brought up a very good point in this episode when he said, you know what, history went on without Agnika. Gjallarhorn was still built without him. So that's our inspiration for this fight. I mean, he's going off, and Farid, he's going off of everybody should bow down to me because I have this suit. But do we really have to? And the 7 stars kind of took that stance on things as well. So the tables have been turned on Farid in an unexpected way. So it's going to get ugly. It's going to get nasty. It keeps saying this is going to be a final battle. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Farid is such a good man with words, though. I mean, he was still kind of charming his way through this episode. Again, like when he was talking to Mikazuki about the AV system, he was saying Gjallarhorn created this thing, and then they want to casually forget about it when the war is over, when somebody else uses it. That's not right. So you can still see where he is on things by saying they were using this to make child soldiers like you, and they want to cover that up. Yeah, about that. We're going to get that cleared up. We also get with the Vidar, which was just a casing for the Chimeras, which was, I don't know, pretty cool. Probably sucks if you bought the mobile suit, because just like how Galeo was hiding his identity as Vidar, now that everything is out there and he can reveal who he truly is, it's now time for him to reveal his rightful mobile suit. So we're actually going to see the actual Chimeras, and we saw it in the opening, so everybody was kind of wondering why it was there. So we finally get to see that revelation come to light, because it was definitely a horn in the opening in that shot that we seen, and we were wondering if McGillis was going to pilot, or maybe that was the bow before we actually saw the images. So now we see the reasons for that. And just like we touched on last week, you can't exactly say that Galeo's wrong in this. He's coming off as more of a hero to the public eye than Farid is. I mean, again, now it's just more of a moral thing to agree with Farid. I mean, yeah, Gjallarhorn's corrupt, they were doing some bad things, but looking at it just straight up in the public point of view, this guy is the enemy. So at this point, I guess we can start talking about the end game. Again, where would Tekkadan go after this? We know all of them are not going to make it. That's the thing that we have to face. I mean, they're pushing this as a final battle. We possibly got a death flag for the old mechanic man, with him basically, you know, relating to the one, I don't even know his character's name, the one dude in Tekkadan who's always basically the viewer in this sense by saying, we can't beat them, why are we going to fight them? And then when someone comes around, he kind of shuts up. But he was like, it's good that you think that way, because this is what these kids need. If these kids had a little bit more fear of death, then maybe we'll be in a better situation. And we begin to see Eugene and Shino and the rest of the guys are beginning to feel this way too, by saying, if we wasn't so blood hungry or battle hardened, battle heavy, maybe things wouldn't be so bad for Orga. But Orga also knows that we're going to fight till the end. So it's kind of making things worse for them. So I hope it really is a clean exit for the people at Tekkadan that does survive. The way they're making it seem now, it's just becoming more and more realistic that this series is going to wrap up, and it's becoming less likely that we might get that series. I still want to OVA about the Calamity War, but there's still some things out there. I mean, even Gjallarhorn has a little bit of room to have a change of heart here, and I think it's kind of far-fetched, but maybe Gjallarhorn will decide to help Tekkadan, but I don't see that happening, only because Farid's forces are so small already. I think it's just going to be about taking them down. There's still some redemption for Farid, but with this battle building up between him and Vidar, I think Vidar is probably going to win this one. I think he would be probably the person to take out Farid, and it will be a callback to Gundam of old, because Farid and Galeo, they're basically Char and Garma all over again. So I guess just like last week, I kind of called this Char's counterattack, or Farid's counterattack, or McGillis counterattack. I guess now with Galeo, this is a little bit of redemption for Garma as a character, because it's like a what if Garma lived and came back and got revenge. So that's interesting as well. And this was a very exposition heavy episode, and we always get that with Gundam. Whenever things get too hype, I mean, we had an emotional roller coaster for about 3 or 4 episodes, so we got that easing down with this ep to put everything together, to paint Farid as a monster, as the main menace. But I wonder where we go from here as a series, because like I said last week too, I honestly want to see some more mobile armors. I want to see some more robotic goons out there. I want to know what happened to those guys, the origin of those guys, and that's why I think there's still some legs to expand on this universe, even if it's an OVA or if it's an older series to go over the Calamity War and what happened there. I think that will make all of us happy. But that was the episode in a nutshell, guys. So let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and drop it a like, and if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as there is not a shortage of content for you to indulge on this channel. And as I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me. I really appreciate that, so thanks for stopping by. On that note, it's your boy Scott signing out. See you soon.